some very, very ugly kitchen doors. It's a lampshade now. Things I've been putting off, episode 1. Lucky me. It's so mysterious and beautiful. Makes a mess. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Vlogmas day 5. I just put up this beautiful new garland. I think we're really getting somewhere now with the Christmas decor. Like everywhere you look, there's something Christmassy. I really like it. So I actually have a very exciting project planned for today, which is the kitchen doors here. And I don't think I've talked about this before, but we have some very, very ugly kitchen doors. They go out to our garden. Now, obviously, we could put new doors in there and make them very pretty, but the doors are very expensive, so we're not going to do that. I am going to try and make them just a little bit better than they are now. I think I can. I think we can definitely spruce them up with just a little bit of paint, new hardware, maybe some picture frame molding, make them a little bit more interesting, and maybe I'm going to try and do my own like mullions in the windows, kind of like what we have in the living room. With those windows there, they have those beautiful mullions in them. I can't make them exactly the same, but I can maybe create the same kind of vibe. So yeah, I'm excited. This is our stunning view today. We can see absolutely nothing. Remember that tree skirt that we got? It's a lampshade now. I'm just kidding. It's just, I put it up there because I wanted to see what it would look like if I put a closed or fabric lampshade there instead of the glass one that is above the table, because I don't like the way that the light is in that corner. It's just a little bit too harsh, and I think it's because you can see the light bulb. So I was just curious what it would look like if it was an actual lampshade. Obviously not that color, but I really like that a lot better. So I think I'm going to go on the hunt for a lampshade for above the table and also for above the island, because we still don't have a light above the island. And in the evenings and in the mornings, it's actually getting a little dark. But that's for a later day. I'm going to take the tree skirt off of the lamp because I want to put it around the tree where it belongs. Okay. See what I mean? It's very harsh or something. I don't know. I don't like it. It's so cute. I'm going to start by taking off this little ugly thing. This is actually an old alarm system that is no longer connected, so I can take those ugly things off. Welcome to Things I've Been Putting Off, episode 1. Let's take them off of all of the windows. I actually always run into the fact that I can't clean under there because there's not enough space. So let's just take them all off while we're at it. It's probably going to leave an ugly, unpainted mark, but we're going to paint these windows later on anyway, so. They painted around everything. So after cleaning up the doors and taking off all of the hardware, I gave everything a really good sand. To paint the doors, I am actually using a very standard white called RAL 9010, which is very often used for door and window frames, and for good reason. It's a very bright and fresh but warm white that goes with everything. The color that was on the doors now is, I think, a RAL 9004, which is way more yellow, but it was very often used in the period that this house was renovated, so it totally makes sense. It's just that it automatically makes it an old-fashioned color compared to the brighter, lighter version, and I think it always looks a little bit like it's been discolored by the sun or something. So I was very happy to brighten it up with this new layer of paint. Now, after this layer has dried, I will sand everything again and then do another layer. So this project will definitely not be complete today, but I do think we can get pretty far. Now, while the paint is drying, I am just washing up those lock pieces. I'm not sure what they're called, but the things you can lock the door with so that I can spray paint them later. So I have put on the first layer of paint, and I put a primer layer on the little lock things so that I can make them a brass color later. I am going to have to do another layer of paint on those doors, but I'm gonna obviously have to wait for it to dry first. So I think that will be after dinner, that I will just do another layer. And then tomorrow we can actually make them prettier. I wanna go out and look for handles for the doors, and I think I'm just gonna get temporary ones that look okay, and then I'm just gonna wait until I run into something really beautiful, like an antique or something, but I'm not gonna find that just that fast. You know, I can't just go to the hardware store and find that. So that is where we're at. I have also ordered a buckload of this curtain fabric because I have decided that I want to continue it on to those windows and eventually also the ones on the side, that one and the one behind me. But I also think it would look good around those doors that we're working on. Now, I wanted to be absolutely sure that I wouldn't run into the fact that they would have run out of this fabric and I couldn't order it anymore. So I figured I best just order all of it at the same time. And also there was a Black Friday sale, so lucky me. So I just took all of the measurements that I need to go to the hardware store and get what we need. And I didn't really feel like going alone, so I convinced Stefan to go with me. I had a spray paint can explode on my hand. That was nice.
What a feeling, now it's time for Christmas. And Christmas is my
Wow.
favorite time of year. It's beginning to look like all my wishes are coming true. That's why I cheer. I've been busy decking the halls. I've been kind to big and small. And now it's time to have a merry holiday. What a feeling when it's time for Christmas. Let's sing a carol and we'll bring it here. I guess that spring and summer, they're all fine. But I've been waiting for the season that's mine.
So we just came back from the hardware store getting all of the things that I need to make the doors pretty. As you saw, because I have just showed you those clips. It is still incredibly misty outside, but it's so pretty. For some reason, it's so mysterious and beautiful. I took a couple of videos from the car, and then when I got home, I sent my drone up to see if I could get above the mist, which I could, but it wasn't really the effect that I was hoping for, but still, it was absolutely beautiful. It's very, very mysterious. I like it. But anyway, I need to wait a little longer before I can do a second coat on the doors, so I'm just going to make some dinner. We are actually having a potato leek casserole because that is absolutely delicious. This leek casserole is one of our favorites. It's quite easy to make. You just have to account for about 45 minutes of oven time, so you have to start early. But then it also heats up beautifully, so you can make this earlier in the day whenever you have time and then just heat it up when it's time for dinner. I do that all the time. I am cutting up the potatoes. These potatoes are from our own garden, and we have been thoroughly enjoying them, although they were at some point found by little critters that apparently love them just as much. So I did have to move them out of the shed and into the house to prevent them from being eaten up before I could eat them. But we moved them into a cool part of the house, and that seems to go better. So I'm very curious to see how long we can enjoy these potatoes before they either go bad or before we run out. And then that way I can decide exactly how many I want to plant next year. Anyway, I cut the potatoes into chunks, and then I do the same with the leeks. Depending on for how many people you're cooking, you can do 2 or 3 leeks. I usually use 3 when I'm making the casserole for 3 or 4 people. But today we were extra hungry, so I made a bit more than I usually would. I add onion rings to it as well. Then I drizzle some olive oil over it and add a couple of spices. I'm just doing salt and pepper and some thyme and a couple of chili flakes. Then I pop it in the oven for about 20 minutes while I prepare a sauce mixture that we will add to the casserole later. The sauce is just a mix of sour cream and some spices. I will leave all of the ingredients in the description, of course. I am using fresh parsley for it, usually. Parsley is actually the only herb that I still have fresh. I have a very big bush of it outside, and it's still going very strong. I honestly have no idea how long that will last, but for now I am thoroughly enjoying it. Then I am just going to prepare a nice piece of chicken. I pretty much always prepare chicken exactly the same way. I mix a bunch of paprika with some garlic powder and onion powder, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then depending on the dish, I will put some oregano or thyme in there. In this case, I use thyme because it's also in the casserole, but it works very well with oregano as well. And then I mix that with a little bit of oil and then just coat the chicken with it. Now, usually I would bake the chicken in the pan, but for this dish, it's actually way easier to just take the casserole out after 20 minutes, then mix the sauce and the veggies, and then add the chicken on top, pop it back in the oven for another 20 minutes or so, and then you'll be done. I do check on the core temperature of the chicken in the meantime. So if the chicken is cooked before the 20 minutes are up, you might want to take them out and put them in a little bit of foil, and then let the casserole go a bit longer if needed, just until the potatoes are all cooked through. I know I said that I was going to do a second coat of paint after dinner, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to postpone that to tomorrow for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's getting really late, and if I am gonna have to paint first and film that and then edit that as well, then I'm not gonna get this video done in time. But second, what I realized just now, I only painted the inside of the door. I didn't open the door to paint all of the edges that you can't reach when the door is closed. So my idea was to do that when I did the second coat and then open the doors and have them dry while they're open, which obviously is going to make the house incredibly cold. Now that's not really as big a deal when it's daytime. I'm not super thrilled about that idea right now because it's already cold with the doors closed. So I think it would be a good idea to do that second coat tomorrow morning. Then I can open the doors and have them dry, and then I will simply turn off the heating for a while and wear a second sweater or something. And then afterwards, when they're all dry, I will heat up the house again. But I don't think I want to do it right now. I think that's a lot less fun when it's dark outside and late and very, very cold. Also, I think I should really get a light for above the island sooner rather than later. That would also make filming this bit, like at the end of the day, a little bit easier. So for now, I'm going to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for part 2 of that very exciting DIY project on the kitchen doors. Bye, guys.